Now the structure of the skin. I mentioned earlier that our target for the needle tip is the dermis. So I'm going to simplify this in terms of 3 levels of skin: epidermis, dermis, and subcutaneous layers of skin, and then down below. So the epidermis has a number of layers. It's not just one layer. And indeed, the top layers are what we call dead skin cells. Those are what slough off fairly regularly when we're younger, and then that time period gets longer and longer as we get older. Maybe they slough off every 20 to 30 days in our 30s, but by the time we're in our 60s, it takes them 45 or 50 days. So then our skin, that's another reason why as we age, our skin can look duller. So our target for the needle is the dermis. The dermis is the central nervous system of the skin. That is where collagen and elastin are. A scar is an overgrowth of collagen and elastin. That means that the cut happens, it breaks through the epidermis, it gets in the dermis, and the dermis starts to send fibroblasts of collagen and elastin to the skin to fix that injury. And as I said, if it's a larger injury, then we have a little scar tissue. Otherwise, the skin just goes back to normal. So we want to stimulate the dermis. When we put a needle in the dermis, it thinks it's injured, and indeed it has been injured. We just poked a needle in there. We're using 38 gauge needles, so it's not much of an injury, but the body can't not respond. The dermis has had a needle put in it. It can't say, I think that needle's for cosmetic purposes, so I'm not going to send collagen and elastin there. It has to. It's been injured. It's been stimulated. So that's our goal. Now people ask, well, what if I just put the needle all the way through? I don't feel like taking the time or being that precise. Okay, if you look at your classics, what do they say about the tip of the needle? They say that the oxygen in blood, they say chi in blood, comes to the tip of the needle. Well, we want all of the stimulation we can get in the dermis, not below the dermis. So I'm pretty fanatical about get the needle in the dermis. And here's a little picture of, you can see that the difference between getting the needle just in the epidermis and then getting it down into the dermis so that collagen and elastin fibroblasts can be called to come to the skin.